The sky was still dark when Ronald arrived at the glass tower of Novacore Industries. It was the tallest building in the entire colony city, shining like a crystal needle rising into the clouds. People called Ronald the richest man on the planet. His company made machines, starships, and even traded alien tech. Everyone feared him. No one dared speak to him unless they had to. Ronald walked into the lobby like he did every morning, sharp suit, serious face, and 2 guards walking behind him. The workers at the front desk stood up straight. The cleaning bots moved out of the way. The automatic doors whispered shut behind him, but this time, something was different. A small voice broke the silence. "Are you my daddy?" Everyone stopped moving. Even the cleaning bots froze. Ronald slowly turned around. There, in the middle of the lobby, stood a little girl. She wore old shoes, a too big coat, and held a small teddy bear in one hand. Her hair was messy, and her cheeks were a little dirty. But her eyes looked just like someone Ronald used to know. He stared at her for a long second. The guards looked at each other, confused. Ronald finally spoke. "What did you say?" The girl took a step forward. "My name is Mina," she said, "and my mom told me if I ever got lost, I should come here." She said, "Maybe you are my daddy." Ronald's heart skipped a beat. "Your mother's name?" he asked quietly. "Ellen," Mina said. "She's gone." Gone? Ronald felt a deep pull in his chest. Ellen was a name he hadn't heard in years. Long ago, before war, before money, before fame. Ellen was someone he cared about. Someone he had lost. Mina reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a small broken locket. She held it out to him with her little hand. Ronald took it slowly. He opened it. Inside was a photo, faded, old, but real. On one side was Ellen smiling. On the other was him. A younger version of himself, without the suit, without the cold eyes. The whole lobby stayed quiet. No one dared speak. Mina looked up at him. "Mom said you might not remember, but I remember you from the picture. She said you're a good man." Ronald didn't say anything for a few moments. He just kept looking at the locket. Then he knelt down, eye level with the little girl. "Come with me," he said gently. He stood up and looked at his assistant. "Take her to my office. Bring her something warm to eat." The assistant nodded and took Mina by the hand. Ronald watched her walk away. Her steps were small, but brave. He looked at the locket one more time, then closed it and followed them. Ronald's office was on the top floor. The walls were glass. The floor was white marble. Large screens floated in the air, showing city traffic, colony news, and mining reports. The room was cold, clean, and full of machines. But now there was a small child sitting on the soft couch, eating a hot sandwich and soup. She looked around with wide eyes. "Your office is like a spaceship," she said. Ronald almost smiled. "You like spaceships?" Mina nodded. "I want to build one when I grow up. One that talks and sings." He sat in the chair across from her. "Do you remember your mother well?" Mina nodded again. "She was very smart. She told stories about the stars. But she got sick. She tried to be strong, but one day she told me to go find you." Ronald felt something deep inside, something he hadn't felt in years. He tapped his desk. A small blue light blinked on. "AI," he said. "Search for any record of a woman named Ellen, in or near Colony District 9. Cross-check with old ID logs, health centers, and refugee camps." "Searching," the soft voice replied. Mina wandered around the office while he worked. She came near a corner where an old hologram panel was hidden under dust. She reached for it without knowing what it was. Suddenly, the panel glowed. A strange image lit up, a swirling shape, like a star mixed with alien symbols. "What is that?" she asked. Ronald looked up. "That shouldn't have turned on." He stood quickly and came over. "This tech hasn't worked in years. It's from the first alien ruins we studied. The symbols on the screen began to shift. Some turned into basic human letters. Signal key matched. Blinked on the screen. Ronald's heart pounded. This girl, this small child had just activated something even Novacore's best scientists couldn't unlock. "Do you feel anything?" he asked her. She shrugged. "Just warm, like sunshine." Ronald stared at her. He didn't understand everything, but one thing was now clear: Mina was not just possibly his daughter. She was connected to something far greater. He picked up the locket again and looked into Ellen's photo. "What have you been hiding from me, Ellen?" he whispered. The next morning, Ronald sat alone in his office with the locket in his hand. His eyes were tired. He hadn't slept. The image of Mina's face and the strange, alien hologram stayed in his mind all night. The soft voice of his AI assistant broke the silence. "Search complete," it said. Ellen was last seen in Colony District 9 5 years ago. She received medical help at a small underground clinic. Records end there. Ronald leaned back in his chair. "Show me the location of that clinic." A map appeared. It was deep inside. The slums, an area filled with broken buildings, black market tech, and people who lived in shadows. Ronald stood up. He pressed a button on his desk. A hidden door opened, leading to his private lift. "Cancel my meetings, prepare my car, and keep Mina safe." "Yes, sir." The car sped through the city, passing tall towers and clean streets, then down into darker zones where the buildings were old and the roads were cracked. The air grew dusty. People looked up as the black vehicle passed. No one rich ever came here. Ronald's car stopped near a collapsed bridge. He stepped out alone. No guards, no suit. He wore a plain coat and walked into the shadows. He followed the map into a back alley. A metal door stood in front of him, half rusted. He knocked. A small window opened. "What do you want?" a voice asked. "I'm looking for a woman named Ellen. She was here years ago." The voice hesitated. "No one by that name here." Ronald stepped closer. "I know she came. I have records. I just want to know if she's alive." The window closed. For a moment, he thought they wouldn't answer. But then, the door opened. With a creak, an old man stood there. He wore a dusty coat and had metal parts on his hands. "I remember her," he said. "She was sick, very sick, but strong. She had a baby with her." "The girl, did she die?" Ronald asked. The man shook his head. "No, she got better and disappeared." "Where did she go?" The old man paused. "Some say she joined the Spark." Ronald's eyes narrowed. The Spark was a rebel group, fighters and thinkers who stood against Novacore. They believed the company was hurting the planet and stealing alien knowledge. If Ellen had joined them, she was now an enemy of everything Ronald built. "Thank you," he said quietly and left. Back in the tower, Mina sat on the soft couch, watching the sky through the glass. She drew a spaceship on a tablet screen with colorful lines. Ronald entered the room. He looked tired, but calm. She ran to him. "Where did you go?" "I went to find out about your mother," he said gently. Mina looked down. "Did you find her?" Ronald knelt. "She's not gone. She just went somewhere to stay safe." Mina's face brightened. "She's alive?" "Yes," Ronald said. "I believe so." He sat down and showed her the map of the slums. "This is where she went, a long time ago." Mina looked at the screen and pointed at a mark. "She told me about this place," she said. "She said if I ever had to run, I should hide near the Blue Bridge." Ronald stared at her. That spot was close to where the Spark rebels were last seen. He had another question, but not for Mina. He stood up and walked to the corner of his office. Behind a glass wall, a DNA scanner waited. He opened the small case that held a hairbrush Mina had used. He placed a strand into the machine. The scanner hummed, lights flashing. "Running DNA comparison," said the AI voice. Mina watched from the couch. "Is that a toy?" Ronald smiled a little. "Not exactly." The screen beeped. "DNA match. 99.9% confirmed. Subject is biological daughter. Ronald didn't speak. He just stared at the screen. He was a father, a real one. He walked back to Mina and sat beside her. She leaned her head on his arm. I miss my mom, she whispered. I do too, he replied. Later that night, Ronald stood near the window, looking down at the city lights. He held the locket again. A part of him still couldn't believe it. He had a daughter. And Ellen was alive, maybe. In danger. Suddenly his office lights flickered. His eye spoke. Warning. Unauthorized signal detected. Origin, Sector 9. Ronald turned. What kind of signal? Encrypted spark message. Unknown content. It vanished after one burst. Ronald's heart beat faster. Was Ellen trying to contact him? He opened the security feed. He played back the time of the signal. On one of the rooftop cameras, he saw a figure in a long coat staring up at the tower. The face was hidden, but the way the person stood. The shape, Ellen. He whispered, but just as quickly, the figure disappeared into the dark. That night, Ronald couldn't sleep. Too many thoughts filled his mind. Why did Ellen join the rebels? What secret was she hiding? And how did Mina activate ancient alien tech? He checked the hologram device again. The alien symbols had changed slightly. Now they formed a shape something. Like a star, surrounded by energy. The system kept repeating one phrase in alien text. Key found. Bridge activated. What bridge? What did it mean? Ronald looked at Mina, sleeping on the couch, her teddy bear in her arms. He knew now. This wasn't just about family. Mina was special, and Ellen knew something that Nova Corps, and maybe the whole world, needed to hear. Ronald made a decision. He would find Elin. No matter the cost. The sun had just gone down, and the colony city was glowing with neon lights. In the highest tower, Ronald stood quietly in his office, staring at the glowing symbols on the alien device Mina had activated. He wasn't just thinking about the strange tech. He was thinking about Ellen. He still remembered her laughter, her courage, and the way she used to talk about stars. But now she was part of the Spark, a rebel group that wanted to destroy everything Ronald had built. Why? Why would she fight against him? He didn't have answers, only more questions. Ronald turned to the window. Somewhere out there, Ellen was hiding, and he had to find her. That night, Ronald wore a dark jacket and left his tower quietly. He didn't take guards. He didn't use his company vehicle. He used an old hover bike from his younger days. He drove fast through the lower districts, passing broken roads and shadowy alleys. He went deep into Sector 9, where the poor and forgotten people lived. No security drones flew here. No laws mattered here. He stopped near the broken blue bridge, the same place Mina had pointed at. A few people watched him from the shadows, but no one spoke. Ronald moved carefully, searching for any signs. He saw strange marks on a wall, the spark symbol. It was a star with a lightning bolt. He followed the symbol until he reached an abandoned building. The door was half broken. Inside, it was dark and cold. Suddenly, a voice spoke behind him. Wrong place, rich man. Ronald turned. 3 figures stepped out from the dark. They wore long coats, faces covered with masks. Each of them held a weapon. I'm not here to fight, Ronald said. I'm looking for Ellen. The tallest figure stepped forward. Why would someone like you want her? I knew her a long time ago, and I know she's still alive. The rebel raised his weapon. People like you killed families, stole alien tech. You don't deserve to speak her name. I didn't come to argue, Ronald said. I came because Mina found me. The rebels stopped. One of them whispered, the girl? Ronald nodded. She's alive. And she's my daughter. The tallest rebel stepped closer, thinking. Then a sudden explosion of smoke filled the room. A 4th person dropped from the ceiling fast. Silent, she threw a small device that disabled all the weapons. "Fall back," she said in a strong voice. Rebels backed away. The woman turned to Ronald. She removed her mask. It was Ellen. Ronald's heart froze for a moment. She looked almost the same, strong eyes. Quiet power, but her face was harder now, touched by years of pain. "Ellen," he whispered. She looked at him coldly. "You shouldn't have come here." They walked together into a hidden tunnel below the building. The air was damp, and blue lights lit the path. "Why did you run from me?" Ronald asked. "I didn't run. I escaped," Ellen replied. "Novacor wasn't the company you thought it was. They started taking alien tech and turning it into weapons. I couldn't be part of that. I didn't know." "You didn't want to know." Ronald looked away. "I searched for you," he said. "After the war, I thought you were gone. I was, in a way. I had Mina. I had to keep her safe. She's special." "I know," Ronald said quietly. "She activated tech that no one else could, something ancient." Ellen stopped walking. "Then they'll come for her." "Who? Your board, your company. They'll see her as a key, not a child." Ronald felt a chill. "They already tried to track her, but I stopped it." Ellen's face grew hard. "You need to do more than stop them. You need to destroy what you built." They entered a wide underground room filled with equipment, maps, and people in rebel uniforms. "This was one of the Sparks bases." Ellen waved to a young man. "Get a medic ready. We have work to do." She turned back to Ronald. "There's something you need to see." She led him to a screen. On it were files stolen from Novacor. "These are secret plans," she said. "Your board is building something called Project Pulse. It will send energy through the planet's surface to extract hidden alien cores. That could collapse the entire ecosystem," Ronald said. "Yes, and the tech they used for this came from experiments done years ago on people." Ronald's eyes widened. "On people?" "During the refugee crisis, Novacor tested alien nanotech on injured civilians without permission. One of them was me while I was pregnant with Mina." Ronald felt sick. "That's why she's different. The nanotech changed her before she was even born." "She's not just our daughter," Ellen said. "She's living proof of what your company did. That's why they can never find her." Ronald stood still for a long moment. Then he looked into Leon's eyes. "I'll help you stop them." Back at the tower, Mina was playing with the IA screen when it suddenly flashed red. "Warning," the voice said. "Intrusion detected." A drone camera showed a dark figure sneaking into the building. A spy. Mina hid behind the desk. She remembered what her mother had taught her. She reached for the alien device. It glowed again, brighter than before. The door burst open. The spy stepped in dark clothes, electric knife in hand. But the moment he got close, the alien device released a flash of energy. The man dropped his weapon. He screamed and ran. As the lights went crazy, security arrived late, but Mina was safe. The alien tech had protected her. Far away, Ronald got the alert. "She's in danger," he told Ellen. Ellen looked at the screen. "She's not in danger," she said softly. "She's learning who she is." Ronald looked at her, surprised. Then, for the first time in many years, Ellen smiled. Morning light spread across the colony as Ronald's personal ship landed on the tower's rooftop. He stepped out with Ellen beside him. Both looked tired but focused. Last night had changed everything. Ellen had told Ronald the truth about the experiments, about Mina, and about the dark secret hidden deep inside Novacor. Now their daughter was at the center of something much bigger than family. As they entered Ronald's private floor, the staff stared in surprise. No one had seen Ellen in years. To them, she was a ghost from the past. Ronald didn't stop to explain. He moved quickly toward his office. "Mina," he called. The little girl jumped from the couch and ran to him. "Daddy." He picked her up and hugged her tightly. Ellen stood nearby, watching quietly. Mina turned and saw her mother. Her eyes lit up. Mama. Ellen knelt down and opened her arms. I'm here, sweetie. They hugged long and warm. Tears rolled down Ellen's face. For the first time in many years, their family was together. Ronald sat at his desk, staring at the DNA scan report again. DNA match, 99.9%. Confirmed parent. He had known it already. But seeing it in numbers made it feel real. Mina was his daughter. And not just any child, she carried alien nanotech inside her. It had changed her, given her abilities, made her unique. Ellen sat across from him. We need to be careful. The board will find out. They already sent someone, Ronald said. A spy came last night. Mina scared him off with the alien device. She activated it again? Ellen asked. Yes, without fear, as if it knew her. Ellen nodded. She has a connection to that tech. It responds to her like she's part of it. Ronald looked at Mina, who was drawing on a tablet, singing a soft tune. What do we do now? He asked. Ellen answered calmly. We expose the truth. About NovaCore, about the experiments, and about Project Pulse. They'll come after us. Then we fight, Ellen said. Together. Ronald called his AI. Scan Mina again. Look for nanotech patterns. Compare to alien structures from the Ruin Archive. The AI responded. Scanning. Match found. 68%. The energy signature in Mina is similar to Artifact 23, the living star core. Ronald frowned. But that core is locked in the vault. Ellen stood. No, it's not. What do you mean? NovaCore lied. They tried to activate it 5 years ago. It didn't work. So they used the energy to experiment. On people. Like me. Ronald's eyes widened. So that's how it entered your body, through emergency treatment. Ellen nodded. And when I was pregnant with Mina, it bonded with her. Ronald stood, shocked. She's the first living human mixed with alien star core energy. She's more than human, Ellen said, but she's still our child. Hours later, Ronald called an emergency meeting with his most trusted staff. Only a few people he believed wouldn't betray him. Inside the dark conference room, he spoke clearly. Mina is my daughter. She has alien tech inside her. Not because of choice, but because of what NovaCore did. The room went silent. He continued. This company is about to launch Project Pulse, a system that will drain alien energy from the planet's deep core. But this will not help humanity. It will destroy the ecosystem. It will cause collapse. One of the advisors looked worried. But the board controls the launch codes now. Then we take them back, Ronald said. We stop them from harming anyone else. A woman in the corner asked, What's the proof? Ronald turned on a hologram. Ellen's files lit up the room. Hidden reports, test logs, and secret lab photos. Gasps filled the room. Some couldn't believe what they saw. Ellen stepped forward. I lived through it, and I survived. But no one else should suffer like that again. The room stayed quiet. Then one man stood. I'm with you, sir. Then another. And another. One by one, they pledged loyalty not to NovaCore, but to truth. That night, Ronald moved Ellen and Mina into a safe room deep inside the tower. It had thick walls, shielded signals, and emergency escape paths. I want you both to stay here until I return, he told them. Mina looked up. Where are you going? To take back what's ours, he said with a soft smile. Mina hugged him tight. Be careful, Daddy. Ellen nodded. We'll be ready. Meanwhile, inside the NovaCore board chamber, angry voices argued. Ronald is out of control. He knows about Project Pulse. We should have removed him sooner. The new CEO, Darren, stood in front of the others. He's soft now. That child has made him weak. But the girl, she activated alien tech. She may be the key to the living star core. Darren's eyes narrowed. Then we must capture her, at any cost. He sent an order to Black Team, a group of elite hunters. Trained for high-risk missions, find the child, bring her in. Back in the tower, Mina sat quietly in the safe room. The lights were dim. Ellen read her an old story about stars and heroes. "Mama, do you think I'm different?" Ellen smiled. "You are, but different is not bad." "It's beautiful." Mina looked at her hands. "Sometimes I feel energy. Like it's talking to me." "That's your gift," Ellen said. "But you must learn to control it." "Can Daddy help me?" Ellen nodded. "He already is." Suddenly, the room lights blinked. Then the AI spoke. "Warning, external breach detected. Hostile units approaching." Ellen stood up fast. "Mina, stay close." She opened a secret wall panel. Inside was a control tablet for defense. Mina stood near the alien device, which glowed brighter than ever. The girl placed her hand on it. The entire room began to hum with energy.eo, and watched in amazement. Mina's eyes glowed faintly. She turned to her mother. "I can feel them coming." Ellen gripped her hand. "Then we'll be ready." Outside the tower, a dark ship floated silently in the sky. Black Team had arrived, but what they didn't know was this. They were not hunting a helpless child. They were about to face something they could never control. The dark sky above the colony shimmered with the lights of ships and floating drones. But one ship was completely black, silent, and invisible to normal radar. Inside it, a group of soldiers in tight suits prepared for entry. They were the Black Team, the most dangerous hunters hired by Nova Corps. Their mission was simple: capture the girl and destroy anything that got in their way. Down in the safe room, Mina was sitting near the glowing alien device. It had changed again. Now it looked like a floating flower made of light, with spinning symbols around it. Her mother, Ellen, watched the entrance closely. She held a small pulse blaster and kept the security tablet in her other hand. She had trained for danger, but even she felt nervous now. These attackers were not normal. The AI warned, unauthorized movement detected. Multiple heat signals approaching from rooftop level. "They're here," Ellen whispered. Mina stood. Her voice was calm. "I can feel them too, like dark clouds." Ellen held her hand. "Stay with me. Don't be afraid." High above, in the board chamber of Nova Corps, the new CEO Darren watched the screen. His eyes were cold. "The child must be captured alive. But if we cannot, bring back the alien device. It's more valuable than anything else." One of his assistants asked, "What about Ronald?" Darren smiled. "If he gets in the way, erase him." Far away in the tower, Ronald was not sitting quietly. He was already inside a secret lab below the company's main research center. Only the CEO had access to this lab. Now, he stood in front of a large data vault, watching thousands of files on the screen. These were the hidden projects of Nova Corps, dark secrets kept away from the public. He entered a code and opened the main file. Project Pulse. His eyes moved over the lines. His heart sank. The plan was worse than he thought. The project was designed to drain alien energy directly from the planet's core using artificial tunnels. This energy would power Nova Corps' ships, weapons, and tech for hundreds of years, but the process would cause massive earthquakes, destroy alien habitats, and possibly tear the planet apart. Ronald gripped the desk. "We can't let this happen." Suddenly, a smaller file blinked on the side of the screen. Project Echo, Human Experimentation, Subject 14. He opened it, and what he saw made his blood freeze. Subject 14 was a pregnant woman. Photos showed her face. It was Ellen. The file said she was given alien nanotech without consent after being injured in a factory blast. She survived, but the baby inside her had absorbed the nanotech. More notes followed. Subject's child shows unknown energy patterns, possibly hybrid. Subject escaped. Asset lost. Ronald stepped back. So it was true. Nova Corps had used Ellen as a test subject, and her unborn child Mina had become something new. They hadn't stopped experimenting. There were other subjects, other hidden labs. This wasn't just one project. This was a network of secrets. Ronald pressed the alarm button and sent the files to his private drive. Then he ran toward the elevator. He had to get back to Mina and Ellen before it was too late. Back in the tower, the lights blinked. The black team had entered the lower levels. One by one, the guards fell, silent and fast. Ellen saw it on the screen. Her heart beat faster. Mina, go into the shield pod. Mina shook her head. No, I want to stay. You must. But before she could finish, the wall exploded. Smoke filled the room. 4 soldiers in black stepped inside, their eyes glowing red under their helmets. Ellen fired first. One of them fell. The others moved quickly, trying to grab the girl. Mina backed away, holding the alien device. Suddenly, the device began to spin. A glowing light surrounded Mina like a protective bubble. The soldiers fired stun rounds, but the shots bounced off the light. One of them stepped closer and raised his weapon high, but before he could strike, Ronald burst into the room. Stop! He shouted, voice full of power. The men turned to him. He held up a control chip. I'm still the true CEO. Stand down. But they didn't listen. Darren had removed his control. The team leader fired at Ronald, but Ellen jumped forward, pushing him out of the way. The blast hit her arm. Ellen! Ronald shouted. Mina screamed, and the alien device exploded with light. The entire room shook. The soldiers were thrown back by a shockwave of energy. Then the light dimmed. Mina stood there, unharmed. The soldiers lay on the floor, stunned. Ronald ran to Ellen and helped her up. You're hurt. I'll live, she said, breathing hard. He turned to Mina. You saved us. She looked up. I didn't mean to. It just happened. Ronald smiled through the chaos. You're stronger than all of us. Later, the Jader tower was locked down. The soldiers were arrested by Ronald's trusted team. Ellen's wound was treated. Mina sat on the couch, holding a warm drink, but her eyes were full of questions. Daddy, what am I? Ronald sat beside her. He took her small hand in his. You are my daughter, and you're special. But that doesn't make you a monster. It makes you a miracle. Will the others come again? Ronald looked at Ellen. They will, but we'll be ready. Ellen stepped forward. We have the truth now. We can show the people what NovaCore really did. Ronald stood. It's time to take this to the world. He walked to his desk, inserted the data drive, and began uploading the files to every open network across the colony. The hidden projects. The illegal tests. The danger of Project Pulse. All of it. The people had a right to know. Inside NovaCore's main office, Darren screamed in anger as the screens filled with truth. The news spread fast. People across the planet began to protest. Rebel groups stood up. Workers walked out. The company was losing control. Darren smashed his tablet. Then we burned them all. He growled, but it was too late. The world was changing, and at the center of it all was a little girl, a mother who never gave up, and a man who was finally ready to fight for what mattered most. The sky above the colony had turned red-orange. Protests filled the streets. Huge crowds gathered around NovaCore buildings, holding signs and shouting for justice. Ronald's secret files were now everywhere on news channels, public screens, and even floating ads. The people were angry. They had learned the truth. NovaCore had lied. They had hurt innocent people. They had turned alien tech into dangerous tools, and they had almost destroyed the planet with Project Pulse. But one question echoed through the crowd more than any other. Who is the girl? Inside the tower, Ronald stood beside Ellen and Mina, watching the chaos on the news. They know now, Ellen said quietly. But that's not enough, Ronald replied. We have to show them what's really at stake. Mina looked up. The alien device. It's calling me again. They turned. The alien device floated gently in the center of the room. It now glowed with soft golden light. Strange symbols moved slowly around it, like stars in a quiet sky. Ronald walked closer. "What is it saying?" Mina closed her eyes. "It's showing. A place, below the ground, deep, very deep." Ellen stared at her daughter. "Can you guide us there?" Mina nodded. "Yes, it's waiting." Ronald called his eye, "Prepare the shuttle. We're going underground." An hour later, a small shuttle left the tower quietly. Inside it were Ronald, Ellen, Mina, and 2 trusted pilots. They flew past the colony walls, over rocky land, and down into the old alien ruins that Nova Corps had once studied, the entrance to. The ruins had been locked years ago. No one had gone inside since the early tests failed. The last time Nova Corps sent scientists, they found nothing. Or so they claimed. Now, guided by Mina, the shuttle landed near the mouth of a giant cave glowing faint blue. "This is it," she said softly. Ronald stepped out first. He looked around. The wind was cold, and the cave pulsed with quiet energy. Moved inside slowly. The walls were covered in alien writing. Ellen held a scanner, but the signals were strange, like the cave was alive. Suddenly, the alien device in Mina's hands glowed brightly. A section of the wall opened like a door, revealing a glowing tunnel. Ronald and Ellen looked at each other in shock. She opened it. Ronald said, "She's the key," Ellen replied. They walked through the tunnel, which led to a large underground chamber. In the middle of the room was a huge floating crystal shining like a star. Around it were rings of energy, spinning slowly. Mina stepped forward, her eyes wide. "It's alive," she whispered. The crystal pulsed, and suddenly, the entire room lit up. A hologram appeared, showing 2 paths, one full of light and green. Life, and one full of fire and destruction. Ellen gasped. "It's showing the future." Ronald nodded slowly. "A future with balance. Or a future of greed." Then the hologram changed. It showed Nova Corps' Project Pulse machines drilling into the planet's crust. It showed energy ripping through the land, cities falling, skies burning, and then silence. Mina looked scared. "If they turn it on, everything will break." "But we can stop it," Ronald said. He stepped forward and touched the floating crystal. The energy responded. Suddenly, new symbols appeared. One of them blinked fast. "What is that?" Ellen asked. Ronald's eyes widened. "It's a message system." Back at Nova Corps HQ, Darren paced in his office, furious. His plans were falling apart. The workers had left. Factories were shut down. Even some board members were speaking against him. "Lock all communication lines," he shouted, but before they could act, every screen in the building turned blue. Then Ronald's face appeared. "This is Ronald, former CEO of Nova Corps. I am speaking from an ancient alien chamber. I now understand what we've done and what will happen if we don't stop. Project Pulse must end. The planet is alive. The aliens didn't just leave behind tech, they left behind warnings. And a way to protect this world." He stepped aside. Mina came into view, holding the alien device. "She is part of this now. She is proof that we don't have to destroy to survive. We can live in balance. But we must choose the right path now." The screen went black. The next day, protests grew larger. Across the cities, people called for Nova Corps to be dismantled. Scientists, workers, families all joined together. Many said the same thing: "Let the girl guide us." Inside the tower, Mina sat quietly in the garden with her teddy bear. Ellen braided her hair while soft music played. Ronald stood nearby, watching the people gather outside the building peacefully. "You did this," he told Mina. She shook her head. "We did it together." Suddenly, a message came through. The Galactic Council had seen the broadcast. They had sent ships to help protect the colony and stop Project Pulse by force, if needed. But Ronald made a new plan. "We end this ourselves," he said. "No more hiding. No more silence." That evening, Ronald and Ellen led a large team to Novacore's Central Command Center. They entered the building without fear. Even Darren didn't resist. "You've already lost," Ronald told him. Darren only whispered, "You let a child destroy." "Everything," Ronald replied. "She saved it." Together, they entered the main control room. Ellen placed the alien device into the core slot. It connected instantly. The room lit up, and a new screen appeared. Planet Defense System activated. Mina stepped forward and touched the screen. Energy flowed through her hand, and with that single touch, Project Pulse shut down forever. The planet began to heal. Energy fields returned to balance. The alien tech stopped fighting back. And for the first time in many years, peace was possible. A few days later, Ronald held a press conference. He stepped to the podium, holding Mina's hand. "The time of greed is over. From today, Novacore will no longer lead with money and power, but with truth and responsibility. This world belongs to all of us, not just the rich or the strong." He looked down at his daughter. She reminded me what it means to be human. That night, in the garden, Mina asked, "Daddy, are we safe now?" Ronald smiled and hugged her close. "Yes," he said, "because we chose the right path." The peace that settled over the colony was fragile. Even though Project Pulse was shut down and the planet's energy had begun to heal, not everyone was ready to accept change. Some powerful people inside Novacore still wanted control. They believed that power was more important than truth. Ronald knew this all too well. He had faced many enemies in his life. But this time, it was personal. Early one morning, Ronald stood on the rooftop garden of the tower. The sun was just rising, casting soft golden light over the city. Mina played nearby, her laughter filling the air. Ellen joined Ronald, wrapping a warm coat around her shoulders. "They won't stop," she said quietly. Ronald nodded. "I know. We must protect her." Ronald looked at Mina, who was chasing butterflies. "She's stronger than we thought." Ellen smiled. "Because she is part alien," Ronald laughed softly, "and part human, the best of both." Suddenly, the building's alarm rang loudly. Ronald grabbed Mina's hand. "Stay close." Ellen activated the shield system around the garden. The security camera showed a group of masked men climbing the walls and entering through vents. "Attackers," Ronald said calmly. Mina's eyes narrowed. "I'm ready." The intruders moved quickly, breaking into the garden. Ronald, Ellen, and Mina stood together. The men were well trained but not prepared for what they faced. Mina stepped forward, holding the alien device. It glowed brightly, shining like a star. With a gentle wave of her hand, a protective light surrounded them. The attackers tried to come closer, but the light pushed them back. One of the men threw a weapon, but it shattered harmlessly. Ronald and Ellen fought with skill and courage. Ellen used a stun baton, disabling 2 attackers. Ronald used quick moves to block and disarm another. Mina stayed in the center, the glowing device humming softly. Suddenly, a loud blast shook the garden. One attacker fired a heavy pulse rifle. Ellen pushed Mina behind a shield just in time. Ronald faced the attacker, but before the man could strike again, the device in Mina's hand exploded in a burst of energy. Attackers were thrown back, dazed and defeated. After the fight, Ronald checked on Mina. She was smiling, though her eyes were serious. "Are you okay?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "I want to learn more." Ellen nodded. "We will teach you everything." The next day, Ronald held a meeting with his loyal team. "We must find the leaders behind this attack," he said. One of the guards reported they used Novacore security badges. "Someone inside is helping them," Ronald frowned. "A traitor." Ellen added, "We must be ready for anything." Meanwhile, in the shadows, a dark figure watched the tower through a screen. "It's not over," the figure whispered. Darren, the former CEO. He had escaped during the chaos and was gathering followers to take back control. Back at the tower, Mina practiced with the alien device. She touched the symbols, and the room filled with light. Her powers were growing. Ronald and Ellen watched proudly. "You're becoming a true protector," Ronald said. Mina smiled. "I want to help everyone." One evening, Ronald received a secret message. "Meet me at the old factory at midnight. I have proof of Darren's plans." Ronald and Ellen exchanged looks. They knew this was risky, but they had no choice. At midnight, Ronald and Ellen arrived at the abandoned factory. The air was cold and quiet. Suddenly, shadows moved. A man stepped forward. It was Kian, Ronald's old friend and a former Novacore scientist. "I have the data you need," Kian said. He handed over a small drive. "It shows Darren's next move, a weapon powered by stolen alien cores. If he activates it, the colony will be destroyed." Ronald clenched his fist. "We must stop him." The three planned their next steps carefully. They knew Darren was dangerous, but together, they had something stronger: family and truth. The final battle came soon. Darren's forces attacked the tower again, this time with heavy weapons. Ronald, Ellen, Mina, and their team defended every level. Mina used her growing powers to shield and protect. Ellen fought bravely beside Ron and Ronald led with courage and hope. In the end, Darren was captured, his plans destroyed. The colony was safe. Days later, Ronald stood before the crowd again. He spoke with pride. "This fight showed us what really matters: love, trust, and the strength to protect what is right." He looked at Mina. "She is proof that even in dark times, hope shines bright." The crowd cheered. That night, Mina looked up at the stars. "Thank you, Daddy," she whispered. Ronald smiled. "No, Mina, thank you."